So are you in a relationship with a partner who's just avoiding intimacy and connection, and you'd like to know if you can save it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The first thing we're going to talk about is what causes an avoidant, because we kind of need that understanding to feel better about the situation. The second thing is what's going on inside them. And then third, how do you save it? Is it even possible to save it? Well, the first thing is what causes the avoidance. And this is actually incredibly sad and heartbreaking. What causes somebody to be emotionally avoidant is they were made to parent, either a parent or a sibling, emotionally and physically. Their childhood was stripped from them. They were smothered, used, controlled, and manipulated. Now, this can happen, like I said, you could have a latchkey kid who had to raise siblings. You could have a mother or father who had health issues. There could have been a divorce, and one or both parents make them a surrogate spouse. You see this a lot now. Parents are making their children their best friend. Well, they're really an emotional confidant. That is smothering, it's manipulative, it's controlling, and ultimately it is horrifically abandoning. This being such best friends with our kids without setting boundaries and limits and making them responsible to make us feel better. Do you see how that abandons them? Who's doing that for them? So the first step is to recognize your partner. It's heartbreaking what they've been through. Now, I'm not condoning their actions, but just so you understand, this is what caused it, and there's nothing you can do to fix it. Nothing. This is a childhood wound. You're not responsible. You didn't do this. You're not to blame, because many times we will feel that we're to blame, okay? So what does that result in? How does that show up in a relationship? Well, the reason they're avoiding is they don't want to be known, because do you see what happened to them as a child? If they were known, they were made to take care of. They were smothered and controlled. So they're doing everything they can to avoid that reoccurring. The second thing is the way they defend themselves from that is they create outside interests, even addictions. That could be gambling, it could be work, it could be sex, it could be porn, but they could be their hobbies. Something is always more important than the relationship. They're trying to create distance because they don't want to be engulfed like they were as a child, okay? The next way is, what this looks like inside of them is they feel alive. The only time they feel alive is in their outside pursuits, not inside the relationship itself. Because look at what happened to them as a child. It was suffocating. It was the death of them. So the only way they feel alive is outside. So that's why they're always busy, always doing something. They can't sit still. They have to keep going. All right. And this could be male or female. It's not just men who are avoidant, especially in the change in the culture. Most women are becoming this. We're raising women to become this. TV's promoting it. Movies are promoting it. The boss bitch movement is telling women to go become this. And so there's a massive increase. Both sides do this. All right. Now, the other thing that's disheartening about this is they are never, ever, ever, ever in the relationship. They can't be. Because to be in a relationship, they'd have to be vulnerable. They'd have to share themselves. They'd have to be known. But they don't do that. Every time you get in a fight, they walk out of the room. They won't have deep discussions. They won't deal with anything. That means they are not actually in the relationship. So what are you going to do that? How are you going to save it? Is it even possible? Well, unfortunately, it is literally almost impossible to save a relationship with an avoidant. And here's why. Do you see what it would require for them to heal the relationship and participate in it? They would have to actually go get help, because any type of intimacy based on their life experience looks like engulfment, control, manipulation, suffocation. So for them to actually participate in a relationship, they would have to be intimate. They'd have to go get help with someone like me. Well, the avoidance almost never will go to counseling, go to therapy, go to coaching. They will not, because they'd have to be vulnerable again. Well, look at what happened to them in childhood. It didn't work out well for them. And so to be in the relationship, to learn how to overcome all of that pain would require intimacy and connection. Well, that's what they fear the most. So your chances of saving this relationship are almost none, unless you are the one in a million who finds an avoidant who's actually willing to go get help. If they don't get help, they will never, you cannot save the relationship. It's not possible. So then you have a decision to make. Am I willing to stay in this and accept that all I'm going to get are scraps? If you are, that's the only way to save it. You will never get your needs met. All the things you've been complaining about, drop them. You have to drop those expectations and accept, okay, this is the best it'll ever be. But I'm going to show you a few things that might make it a little bit better. The first is this: stop chasing them. Ignore and abandon them. I know that sounds cruel, but quit asking for intimacy. Do you see? Requests for intimacy scare them. So stop. Start pursuing your own life. Meet your needs and wants yourself. Now, that's not actually abandoning. That's healthy. But they will feel abandoned. They will chase you at least a little bit. But don't be fooled. The second you start opening up, they're going to run from you. So learn, find that middle space where they don't run. But you can never, ever drop your walls and be fully intimate with them. It will not happen. It's not possible. So you're going to have to focus on meeting your own needs and wants. And you'll know if you're doing this right, if it feels like you are just like them. You feel cold, distant, and detached from the relationship. If that's how you feel, that you're not talking to them, like it feels like you're not even with them, that's how you'll get them to participate. That's what you're going to have to settle for. If you can live with that, then that's how you can save it. Okay? But you must be, the only way you can salvage this is if you're willing to settle for those type of scraps. Otherwise, it is not salvageable unless you got lucky and the 1 in really billion love avoidant actually is willing to go get help. It's it's so rare, but it is possible. But without that, that's what you'll have to settle for, is you need to feel like you are not even in the relationship. When you feel that way, that's the only time they will participate a little bit and come towards you. But that's how you're going to have to live in the relationship. If you can survive that, that's how you save it. Okay? Now, I know this is heartbreaking. Please leave me comments if you have questions about it, because this is a short video. Obviously, it's much more involved than just a 7-8 minute video. But leave me your comments. If this helps you, please like it and please subscribe and pass it on to others that you know are struggling with this same issue. So I hope that helps you. Have a great day.